Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Maku.
Kobayashi.
Another episode for Demon Slayer. I hope you guys really liked the previous episode. You know, it's just another amazing display of Demon Slayer. There's nothing really we'll say today, but it's a very important episode because I got misleaded hard. So hard.
A lot of anime onlys got misleaded hard because the cliffhanger from last episode, we thought it was either going to be like a Tanjiro backstory or something.
Oh yeah, or some sort of reveal, but I got debated basically. So go ahead and pop it up first.
Yeah, so basically the cliffhanger that happened, and then the first thing we see, he's just a mechanical doll.
Yeah.
And
so we figure out he's a mechanical doll, and we figure out why he's fighting for this key. As if you guys remember from the previous episode, that's why the Miss Hashira was there in the first place. So, and then another thing to know, he fully forgot who Tanjiro was because he was there during the first time they met. And he fully forgot who he was. So we're noticing he has some sort of like short-term memory loss.
Yeah, because they did mention it too when we first meet him. The Miss Hashira, he's always, what's the right word? Aloof? Is that the right word? Or very, I don't know.
I guess aloof is the right word. I mean, he's not really aware of what he's doing at that moment.
Yeah. I feel like it makes sense because, in my opinion, like the saying, you get lost in the mist.
Yeah.
I think he's Miss Hashira, so yeah, he just tends to forget a lot of things. It kind of reminds me of Maku gets this student, forgets a lot of things too. But to move on, basically this whole episode was just like a training arc, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well,
it really. I assume it's gonna continue on for the next like episode at least, or at least
half
of it.
I feel like maybe half of it, but the next episode, which we'll talk about it towards more at the end. We'll explain the cliffhanger of that.
Yeah. So, but in any case, yeah, it was pretty much just a training episode. The premise of it was basically the little kid, the little Smith. What's his name called?
Kotetsu.
Yeah,
I believe that's.
So Kotetsu, he was crying because the Miss Hashira was basically going to destroy one of an ancient artifact. Because for a little bit of context, that doll that looks like,
his name, the
Sun Breather.
The doll is named after Yoruichi, I believe, and it was from the Sengoku period, which was over 300 years ago.
Yeah,
which is really crazy.
He didn't want to give it to him because he felt like he was going to destroy like a 300-year-old artifact, right? And obviously, we don't want that to happen, or he didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, plus I believe he said his father passed away, so he's like the one left in charge with it, I believe.
Yeah. So he's like the protector of it, essentially. And I mean, really, the Miss Hashira said, "Oh, wow, just give me the key."
Give me the key. I don't care about that sad backstory or whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to train.
Yeah, and then obviously Tanjiro interfered, said, "Oh, don't do that. Just let him be." And then the Miss Hashira once again, he just said, "Yeah, don't want to really hear your boring speech. Just give me the key."
Yeah.
And in the background, and in the background, we ended up seeing
Tanjiro's swordsmith.
Yeah, his personal swordsmith, and I guess he was in his feelings or something.
Yeah, because Tanjiro's speech was very Tanjiro-esque. Very heartfelt speech.
Yeah. Obviously, the Miss Hashira really gave two shits about it. He didn't really care. But so he ended up taking the key when he woke up because keep in mind,
the Miss Hashira did knock out Tanjiro.
Yeah, he ended up knocking out Tanjiro because he was really adamant on not letting the Miss Hashira get the key. Got knocked out, woke up. Kotetsu, you said his name was?
Yep.
Woke him up, said, "Oh, don't worry about it. He already took the key." So he ended up taking the key. And he eventually just started training with the doll. And Chandra was just asking a series of questions about the doll. Meanwhile, we saw in the background that the Miss Hashira was training.
Mm-hmm. Basically, while they're walking back to retrieve the doll, the Miss Hashira does appear with, he's just walking back. And we get to see he actually broke one of the arms and he kept the sword because he broke his sword while training.
Yeah, so one of the questions that he asked was, why does the doll have 6 swords? And he said, does he have 6 arms himself? And he said, no, actually the reason why they built 6 arms on him is because it's really hard to replicate it with just 2. So it just explains how powerful this person was.
Yeah.
So obviously he ended up breaking one of the arms, and
now it's just a 5-arm Yoruichi mechanical doll. And Kotetsu felt really angered by this, and he basically told Tanjiro to train for him, or train to get revenge. And yeah, it was just his training montage. Kotetsu, as we see in this episode, he's a very tyrant leader, or master or trainer, I would say.
Yeah, he's a very dominant leader. Yeah. He kind of just puts Tanjiro through tough situations, and I mean, it's just like every other trainer of his was in the past. I mean, even what's his face?
I forgot the dude's name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. If you guys remember, just let us know. The first trainer, he was really hard
the
on
water
him too.
breathing.
Yeah, the first guy, he also was really hard on him too. So it just shows how passionate he is on letting Tanjiro trade.
Yes. So basically, if Tanjiro didn't like get one strike on the Yoruichi doll, he wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep, no water, very hard, and it was like this was happening for like a good 4 days. And then one moment, Tanjiro, it looked like he went to heaven or something, but in reality, he just like found like his missing piece, I want to say. And because you know how Tanjiro has this opening thread, right?
Yeah, so he just so if you guys remember, he has the little quote unquote opening thread or open thread or whatever. It's a scent that he gets where there's a wide open area, so he just started smelling wherever the attack was coming from, or the bloodlust of where the attack are coming from. And there was one moment where he ended up cutting, not a vital part by any means, he just ended up cutting like a bit of like not a kimono, of his clothing from like...
Yeah, just like his cloth or whatever.
Yeah. And he finally got to eat and was really, not desperate, what's the right word?
Euphoric? I don't know. That's right.
I guess, yeah, no, wait, that's the right word, euphoric, because he was finally relieved that he didn't have to starve himself.
He basically got the food and water, or tea in this case.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he kept on training, and then he actually was improving, obviously. And there's one instant where he was like mid-air, he was about to slash and completely break it, but then he stopped and he hesitated. He's like, I don't want to break this because it might upset Kotetsu's feelings. But Kotetsu knew he was feeling that. He's like, Tanjiro, don't hesitate. Go for the final blow. And then Yoruichi, the mechanical doll, actually slices a part of Tanjiro's hair, but Tanjiro got the final slash and basically broke the doll.
And obviously, from breaking it, I mean, this is where the cliffhanger comes into play, because we see this ancient sword that came out of like the sternum of it, right? Because it just ended up poking out.
And I would assume that's Yoruichi's blade. I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be crazy if he ends up using it, right? So we'll see if he ends up using it. Like I said, this really wasn't like a crazy episode. It was more so of a training montage.
Yeah.
Either way, it was still good. We know what we're getting with Demon Slayer. You guys let us know if he's gonna use it. I mean, do you think he's gonna
I
use
know
it?
the next title it says the sword from 300 years ago. So they'll probably explain the backstory of that sword.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I think he'll use it. Or actually, no, I don't think so. I think the swordsmith guy is gonna forge him another sword. But
Yeah. I'm not fortunate. Or he might use it. I don't know. Either way, the swordsmith, I know his personal swordsmith is gonna come in this third episode, just because it's been too long since we haven't seen him, and I know he's gonna pop up and eventually. If it's not this episode, I guarantee he's gonna.
I do know one spoiler of the swordsmith. Actually, I won't tell you. I'll let you guys know later in the future once it is revealed. But yep.
Yeah. So I mean, guys, as always, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, because we do end up reading them. And if there's any anime you would like us to talk about, just let us know down in the comments down below. My name is Maku,
Kobayashi.
and thank you.